Alright, so I've just finished this new project and I thought I'd do a quick video to walk through exactly the steps I took to achieve this kind of result. So just to quickly show you what this 3D scene looks like, I've got this main ArchiCAD model here with a fair amount of vegetation around it, and it kind of terraces down the site. It's quite a cool design that I came up with, and honestly, the designing alone has taken probably a few months, and it was all modeled in ArchiCAD. So all I had to do was basically just import it in, change the materials around, and add all the vegetation, which made it a lot more of a smoother process. But yeah, the key concept is you drive in to the garage, you've got your living room, you know, your bedrooms and living rooms and everything, and it all just kind of looks like a bit of a village. And so I've come up with two key renders, and I'm going to walk through the first one now and then follow up with the pool shot. So this is how the viewport looks, and I'll orbit around soon, but I just wanted to point out a few key kind of features in this shot. We've got the trees. These are from the 3D Shaker tree pack, and I'll leave affiliate links in the description for every single asset I use. Basically, all the vegetation in this from the 3D Shaker tree pack, and I've actually got it in my asset browser, so it's really easy for me literally just to drag and drop it into the scene. It's really easy. So it's called Trees 1.5. The next feature we see in this shot is the driveway, and I've actually manually created a array of these little square pavers, and I've randomly offsetted them to create a little bit of variation to the pavers, because in reality they're not going to all be perfect. And with the shader setup of this, I'll go into it. It actually randomly brightens and darkens per paver, and that just creates a little bit more of a natural feel to it. So I'm using a rock surface material. I think I got this from Quixel, and it's literally a texture from a rock. But there's so many different ways you could approach this, and so many different textures you could use. The key thing here is that I'm using a UV randomizer, and I'm not going to explain all of this, but basically, you know, you're using a random per island, which goes into a color ramp, and that goes into a multiply with the base color, and that's where you get the brightness and darkness. You don't actually need to understand this to achieve the same result, but you can just copy the exact setup that I've got here. So those are the exact kind of nodes there, and also that UV just goes into all of the textures. So that's the driveway. So going back to the main camera view, the other key component here is that the actual architecture model itself was modeled in ArchiCAD. So all the roofing, everything was just straight out of ArchiCAD, and thankfully I didn't actually need to do many kind of changes to it. I did just basically chuck a different material on. What I really like about ArchiCAD is that the UV maps are actually all set up when you export it out. So really it's just you need to change the material. But the big issue with that is that the geometry is pretty terrible. So if you ever wanted to do displacement, it's kind of a nightmare. So there are a few areas that I had to remodel for the close-up shots. But I think for the further away shots, it's actually not a bad result. Like, it looks pretty convincing. So if we go into this material here, it's called Castle Wool, and that's the little code there. So you can actually go into Quixel, but it's probably a small cost for a really good texture, and I'm sure you can find something similar. So the HDR I used was Forestberg Mountain Lookout 2. So along with the HDRI, I really wanted to just bring out all the different features and the planting with the lighting. And in particular, I created these little globes that basically just spheres, but I literally just made these cylinders and I just extruded it out, applied a dark material to the outside, and then I just created a emissive material for the inside. With the material set up for this, it's just a emission node with a strength of 1000 and a black body node which plugs into the color, and that's just set at 2700K. I'm going to quickly touch on the post-processing. So I used a add-on called Render Raw. It's incredible, and I haven't found something similar that has the same capacity as Lightroom, like with Photoshop, and you can actually do all of that in Blender. I'll just turn it off so you can see kind of how it's looking without all the color management. And let's turn it on. So it's kind of not a huge change in terms of the overall lighting, but what it really plays a key role in is the colors. And that's actually why I use Photoshop a lot, because you want to be able to change the hues of your vegetation, of the sky, of any material. You want to be able to tweak those, because when you actually use these materials in Blender, they're going to be quite off. They're going to contrast with each other in a way that you don't want. So to be able to say, make the vegetation a little bit cooler or a little bit warmer and maybe desaturated, all of that can be done here. And like, for example, you can even change the color temperature of the overall image. It's phenomenal. I love the ability to use sliders because it's just a lot more intuitive. So down here we've got per hue, and say if I wanted to just reduce all the saturation of the yellow, you can see, like you can play around with these sliders and see them live as you work on the shot. And I think that's actually the key, is that when you're planning out this shot, when you're creating your composition, when you're putting everything in together, you can actually get an idea of the final result before you're there. So there's no guesswork. So that's the post-processing of this. Just quickly to touch on the composition and the camera. So I tried to frame this shot with trees just to really bring the focal point onto this main central building. It kind of came together quite nicely. I do really like to frame shots with trees or some sort of shadow feature. So with the camera specifically, I made sure to enable depth of field. It kind of helps the focus to actually remain on the focal point in the distance. It allows you to get this nice blurry effect with the foreground, and I just think every single shot should have a bit of depth of field, because that's how you achieve your realism, because that's how cameras actually work. So I chose an f-stop of 1.8, which I think is a nice combination with the 50mm focal length. So with my renders, I'm pretty much only doing 35 or 50, or like if I'm doing a real wide shot, I'll do like 18mm or something like that. But you always want to refer to real world camera lenses. And I'm also using a render manager called RenderSet. It's basically a way to create different states of a camera. So all of these link to different cameras, and you can select a certain HDRI rotation, certain features per state. It sounds a little bit complicated, but what it means is that you're not having to constantly change your HDRI settings or your resolution settings. Say you wanted a vertical render and you wanted a horizontal render, you're not having to go back and forth, which I hate that you can't do that with the standard Blender version. So if you're doing a lot of renders for clients, like this is super useful, and I've used this a lot for, keeping things consistent. So I'm going to quickly cycle through some of these shots, but the main other shot that I put together was a pool area, and you can see I put together heaps of different shots here. So moving down to the next view here, we've got a pool shot, and this pool design was really fun to work with. It's got quite a cool spa area, which is all built in, and also a cool little bridge across with a sunbathing area. It's got an outdoor pizza oven, a pergola, its own pool house, and this all comes down from the living room. So if we go onto this camera view now, this is the second key shot that I've put together. So let's have a look in the rendering view. Alright, so this is how the camera view looks. I might have tweaked the colors slightly in the render view so it doesn't look exactly like it does in the final render. But you can see here it's the same kind of core concepts. We've got this vegetation from a globe plants New Zealand species, but combination with the 3D shaker trees back. The key concept of this render here, obviously, I think is the water. So it's literally such an easy setup. It's just a glass BSDF with a IOR of 1.333, a little bit of blue in the color, not too much, and let's see, I've enabled caustics as well. And so what that does is it shines those beautiful kind of light effects of refraction onto the pool base. which is really important when you're going for realism. But the actual pull object itself is just a ocean modifier. And I've actually got a really in-depth video on how I set that all up on my channel. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And all of the furniture I've used in this project is from the 3D Shaker furnishing pack. So again, that's just in my asset browser. So many different bits and pieces, and it's also got outdoor stuff. So that's what you can see there. So if I just get out of the render mode real quick, I can give you a better view of what this pool area looks like and how I've tackled the lighting side of this, because it's really difficult to film, to render out a shot with the sun from like midday, because it ends up looking really harsh, and it just doesn't look as nice as like a blue hour or a golden hour kind of render. So how I've tackled that is with these big trees that basically cover that whole area. If I go out of render mode real quick, you can see easier, because this is such a heavy scene. But I've got these massive trees that are just out of the camera view, and they just cast the most beautiful dappled light into the pool. It wasn't really a part of the design, but when I was playing around with the lighting and the angle of everything, that just ended up being the most cohesive lighting situation. And in terms of the lighting for this, the HDR I used obviously is different because it's a different time of day. I used a PG Skies 1714 HDRI, and this is from the PG Skies website. It does cost money, but I don't know, I think their quality is incredible, and it's worth just putting a few up your sleeves, you know. But there's heaps of HDRIs for free on Polyhaven. So that's my walkthrough of the Hamlet project. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's taken a long time to put this together, so let me know in the description what you think of the final result. And feel free to jump on my free Discord. There's a link in the description, and you can share your work with the incredible community there and get feedback from me and everyone else. So I look forward to seeing you there and in the next one. Cheers.